Hi everyone, welcome back to my book review YouTube channel. I'm going to talk to you today about my books that I read for September this year, and it's like a full month recap. I didn't actually do anything in the middle of September, just timing and everything, and honestly I kind of like the idea of doing like a full month recap at the very end, one larger video, and then that's it for the month until I kind of get things more settled out. So we'll start with this. I know I keep going back and forth between different like recording schedules and whatnot, but I'm just trying to figure out what works best for me in the long run. So this is where we're at for right now. The first book that I'm going to talk about today is The Longest Ride by Nicholas Sparks. So I saw this movie quite a few years ago now, and I didn't really remember a whole lot of it. I remember like certain things, but reading the book, I think the book is fairly different than the movie. There's like same people, but there's a few different, obviously for movie's sake and time and whatnot, it is a little bit different. But I will say, I rated this one a 4 out of 5 stars. It was a good read. It was pretty fast, but there were certain parts of it where it just droned on and on and on and on and on. It follows the budding love story between Sophia and Luke, and also it looks at the love story between Ira and Ruth at the same time. Ira and Ruth are an elderly couple. Ruth has since passed away. Ira was in a car accident and isn't sure if he's going to survive. And of course, Sophia and Luke are college age. He's a bull rider. She's in college, and they just met. Ira kind of remembers their relationship throughout the book. I really liked it. It did feel like quite romantic and like an old timey kind of way, especially with Ira and Ruth's story. I said it just droned on and on and on and on. There are certain points where I'm just like, okay, I get it. Get to the point, man. Like we've rehashed this like multiple times now. I did like it. So like 4 out of 5 stars. Solid read. Would I read it again? Probably not. Would I recommend it? Yeah, go for it. It's a good read. I like it. So there's that. All right, next book I'm going to talk about real quick is Cowgirl at Heart by Christine Linksweiler. I read another Christine Linksweiler book not long ago, and I did enjoy it. It was a little cheesy, but I did enjoy it, so I had high hopes for this one. Didn't really meet those expectations, though. So essentially, it follows Elise McCord. She's really guarded. She doesn't have any like ambitions to like go and put herself out there. Like she does dog grooming and stuff, and she's happy the way she is and like with her family, but she's really quiet and keeps to herself. But she sees a dog that's starving, and so she decides, oh, I'm gonna go try and help rescue this dog. And turns out the guy who is like there watching the dog is not a good guy. So she is saved by a man named Andrew Stone, who is searching for his wife's killer. So he sees what's going on with Elise and, how she's being attacked by this guy. So he goes up and saves her, and they meet, and he tries to protect her, typical of, a cheesy romance story. It is good. I liked it, but the characters, like even the main character, Elise, and of course Andrew, they both seemed very 2D. There wasn't a whole lot about them other than like a basic on what they look like, and she's shy and he's protective. Like that's all we get really. So I wish there was more of that. I read the book in a day. Like that's how fast I was able to get through like 300 pages. It wasn't bad, but not my favorite. It's like a 2.5 out of 5 star for me. So I probably would not recommend. But if you like that kind of thing, go for it, Okay, so next book I want to talk about is The Darkening Hills by Carrie Buchanan. This book was an ARC. It was given to me by NetGalley to read and review ahead of time. I just want to talk about it because I did enjoy the book quite a bit. I rated it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's essentially a police procedural based in Ireland. The main detective, Aaron Birch, is trying to figure out who killed this man, and they have really like no leads. They don't really know who it could be, and once they start to like figure out who it is, now they gotta chase this person down. And it was really a good book, and I like the little Irish mannerisms and different like way of like speaking that they had for certain things, like just different phrases and stuff that they would use in the book. It was a little unusual to me at first, just because like I don't use that. I don't really know what exactly what they're saying. But once I started figuring things out, it was really cute. I really liked it. As far as that goes, the book itself, Following a Murder, is not what I'm saying is cute. It's like the mannerisms and the speak. I like it, you know. The the suspense and the thriller part of it did actually work really well. I enjoyed that. This book is part of a series, and so I think had I read like books in the series prior to this one, I would have understood certain things more and felt maybe a little differently about it. But otherwise, it's a good read. I would definitely check it out if I were you, if you like those kind of police thriller crime books. And yeah, be on the lookout for this one. It should be coming out soon. So yeah. Okay, so next book I want to talk about, which I read all the way back. Like I think I finished it like the first day of September, so it's been a little bit. I'm literally recording today on September 30th, so cutting real close here. The book is Small Town Sins by Ken Jaworski. Not quite sure how you pronounce it. I'm horrible with names. Disclaimer. But okay, so this book I was not sure about at first. It seemed like it was taking different paths, like all around. Like it had like followed. I think it followed three different people and like kind of what they've got going on in their life, the problems that they're facing, and the decisions that they're having to make given everything that's going on with them. And they do kind of cross paths a little bit, and like they make mistakes and they hurt people around them unintentionally, sometimes intentionally, and it's really dark actually because that like some of the stuff that happens in the book, it was so heartbreaking and it was so sad at certain times because it's like the way he wrote the characters, they seemed real. They felt like people that I could have met on the street and had no idea that they were going through this, and that's I think what made it so heartbreaking. But it just talks about the ups and downs of life in small town USA and those battles that everyone's going through secretly or not so secretly, and how everyday interactions with other people might affect them and their outcomes. It was a very well written book. It was very good. I absolutely enjoyed the writing style. The story itself was so deep and it was so heavy. And I rated this a 5 out of 5 star just because like I said, the writing was so like above and beyond. It was so good. But it's one of those like 5 stars that I don't know if I could ever truly recommend to anybody because if you read it, you're not really gonna feel like satisfied. It's gonna make you start to like question a lot of things, especially if you're like me. Like I grew up in a small town where a lot of people knew each other, and you know people had issues with different vices and jobless and going through bouts of homelessness and things like that. It's stuff that affects people that I know personally too, and it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely a well-written book. I don't know what else to say about it. Check it out if you want to, but be warned that it is very deep. So take that for what you will. And so our next book is taking a little bit of a lighter turn than the last one. It is The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. The first book to this series is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. It was a good book. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't sure that there was going to be a second book, and then I found that there was, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. The second book, I will say you do have to read the first book, I think, to really understand what's going on before you read the second book. So this book follows Millie, who, without giving too much away, is a housemaid, but she likes to take out the dirty laundry, the trash, if you will. So she makes some really badass decisions in this book, and like she does things that it's like, hell yeah, go Millie, we like you, we like what you're trying to do here. But also sometimes it's like, man, you make some absolutely insane decisions. A lot of Frida McFadden books, like if you've read them, you know that the ending you never really quite see coming. Maybe you do. I don't. I kind of like that twist at the end though, so that's why I keep coming back to them. But this one, I feel like I had the ending figured out from a mile away, which is unusual for a Frida McFadden book, but it is what it is. I did enjoy it. It's a 4 out of 5 star book for me. So it's good. I will always come back to Frida McFadden books because they're just so goofy, so silly, but they're so good because they end in kind of a way that I like, even if it's like a roundabout way of getting there. So we like Enzo. Enzo's good. Next book we are going to talk about today is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I absolutely love Stephanie Garber's series, Carval series. I just fell in love with it when I read it, and so when I found out about the Once Upon a Broken Heart like series, I was like, yep, I'm reading, sign me up, I want it. So I got to it later than I wanted to. I was waiting until the library had it back in stock. When I got my hands on it, I was like, I flew through it. Okay, so anyways, let's get on with it. So this book follows Evangeline Fox, who she's got pink hair. She kind of likes to believe in the magic and the mystical kind of stuff. Like, she wants to believe it's real, and I feel for that. So she is brokenhearted because the boy that she liked is marrying her sister, kind of unexpectedly. But she gets invited to go to the North Country for a celebration that they have there. And she meets Jax. If you know anything about the Carnival series, you probably know where this is going. And she's kind of struggling with her feelings for another man that she meets, and like trying to figure out what Jax wants, because if you know Jax, he's probably using her for some other plan. But that being said, I do like Jax. We do like Jax. He's one of those villains that you just can't help but like and kind of root for. I really did like how this book tied into the Carvel series, and it was subtle, so it like didn't really like directly tie like into it, but it had like loose threads there, and I did enjoy that because I want Evangeline to have like her own story. I don't think it needs to be a follow-on to Carvel. It needs to be its own story because I like the way it's going. So that being said, I rated this one a 5 out of 5 stars. I'll be surprised. Anything Stephanie Garber writes is 5 out of 5 for me. I love it. Is it always like the most logical storylines? No, but it's like almost like chicken soup to me as a reader. I love it. And I will take as much of it as I can because it makes me happy. So that's what it's about, right? So, also, I read The Ballad of Never After, also by Stephanie Garber, the second book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. And you can probably guess what I rated this one. Absolutely 5 out of 5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars. So in this book, you get to see kind of the relationship between Jax and Evangeline. It does talk about the other man that she loves, but then you see her working more directly with Jax. Let's put it that way. Relationship, like she's working more directly with Jax. I feel like we know how this is going, but like, I still haven't read the last book yet, so I want to experience it and not like have it all thought out in my head. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but then learning about Jax's past in this book just absolutely solidified him in my mind as the lovable villain, because it's so heartbreaking, man. Like some of the stuff. This one, I think so far, I don't know. I'll have to read the final book and see how it goes, but this one, I really like this one. This one definitely is going to hold a special place. But yeah, absolutely. 5 out of 5 star for me. So stick around. Hopefully, actually, who am I kidding? Yeah, I'm gonna read the last book this month probably because I can't leave it any longer. I gotta read the next one. Next book we're gonna talk about is Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. It is book 1 of the Gold Rush Ranch series. I've seen this one all over Instagram. I see a lot of other people talking about the series and these books, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll get in on it. I think it was included in like the Kindle books that you get for free if you have Amazon Prime. So I was like, you know what? We'll try it. That being said, I wanted to like this book more. I did not like it. I feel like I rolled my eyes so many times when I read this book because I'm like, oh man. Like, okay, so there's different tropes in the romance realm of things, and some people like different things, and I'm not gonna say that, oh, this is horrible because it's just not for me. But essentially, so the book follows Billy, who is a horse trainer, and she's getting a job with a man named Vaughn, who is a rich guy. He took over his grandfather's ranch after his grandfather passed away, and they're dealing with allegations of cheating and stuff like that for horse racing. They race horses. They're dealing with allegations of cheating in horse racing, which, big no-no, obviously. Vaughn is like, I know it all, and he acts like the rich kid that he is. And Billy has worked really hard to prove herself, especially being a woman in kind of more of a male-dominated field. And she's trying to run from things in her past. And so she's, trying to make it her own thing. Absolutely, And we want that for her. I like Billy. She is absolutely, I get what I want because I work hard. Not because I want it. Like, I work hard to get what I want, so she gets it, and I like that for her. I don't like Vaughn. I really don't. He seemed arrogant the entire time, and the way he treated Billy at the beginning, it's just like, and then she likes him, and it's like, I don't know, so he's her boss, and again, some people, like that, like those kind of tropes or whatever, but no, not me. And then also, again, the way he was, like, arrogant towards her and everything at the beginning, and then, later she's like, I kind of like him, but I don't. I did like, so the horse that was in the book that they were training most of the time was named Double Diablo, and she nicknames him Dee, and man, that horse has got an attitude. I love it. I think it's hilarious. And the way that he and, like, Billy would, it's weird to say that, like, she and a horse would, like, banter, but, like, he had an attitude and she had an attitude right back, and it was cute. I like the way that, like, those two, like, they work together. That being said, I wanted to like Vaughn. I couldn't, was not it for me. So I rated it a 3 out of 5 star just because, again, I like the fact that Billy was a hard worker to get what she wanted, and I like her character. She's got a strong character. I might try the next couple books in the series. I might not. I'm not going to be in any rush to, like, read them, but, if it's your thing, go for it. But yeah, 3 out of 5 star for me. Next book we're going to talk about is Devil by the Tail by Caroline Lavoie. I am horrible with names. I'm so sorry. But that being said, this book was also an advanced review copy that I was given for free in exchange for me leaving a review. That being said, like, I like reading these kind of things. It was fun. I like reading anyways, and so, like, getting to check things out early, I was just like, oh yeah, it's exciting. This book, I really did enjoy it. It was like a young adult kind of book. It had some, like, Native American legend and lore ties to it. It was based in Canada. I want to say northwestern Canada. I'm almost certain. I'm not 100%, but I'm almost certain it was, like, northwestern Canada. Anyway, so this book follows Alex. Alex believes in the local lore that a trickster kind of, like, haunting the mountains in the area, and if she sees it, then she's cursed to lose someone that she loves. That's kind of like the whole lore behind it. She doesn't, like, believe that she is cursed, but it's something that, like, continuously recurs. But then she's like, if I don't let anyone get close to me, then they can't hurt me, right? Well, then Amka, a new girl, moves to town, and all of a sudden Alex, she's just like, those walls, they're gone. She deals with, like, her feelings for her and for Amka, and like, her feelings for another friend that she already had. His name was Caden. It was a good book. It was cute. The dealing with this trickster, at certain points it's like, is she hallucinating? Is it real? I'm not sure. But I also kind of like that because it's like, yo, what is happening here? It was like, what is happening here in a good way? Because she faced, like, certain things from her past and trying to, like, come to realizations of what's going on now, and her feelings and everything, and it really worked well, and you didn't quite know which way it was going to end. But that being said, I do really like the way it ended. I think it's a really good book. It should be coming out, I think, within a week, actually. It's supposed to be, I think, early October release. So definitely check it out. Like I said, it is a young adult book, so it's a little bit shorter. a little bit toned down on certain things, but that being said, it's still a really, really good book. Really quick read. Alex was a bit mean at certain times, and at first I was like, man, I don't know why she's so mean. I don't like this. But then thinking about it too, she's, I think, roughly like a junior in high school age girl. So, and she's also dealing with emotions, and I've been there. I was a junior in high school once dealing with emotions, and I'm sure I was not the nicest person in the world. So like putting it in that perspective, it's like, okay, she's not really mean. She's just a high school age girl. It is absolutely a solid book. I rated it a 4 out of 5 star personally. I think it's really good, so check it out if this sounds like something that you would like. All right, and now we got 2 more books to talk about, and unfortunately, both of these books I did not finish. First one I want to talk about is Apple Tree Yard by Louise Doughty. I think it's Doughty. I really do. But again, do I need to say it for the 3rd time? I'm horrible with names. Okay, so this book, I wanted to like it because it was kind of like a woman who is a scientist who's put on trial for a crime that she did not commit. And I quickly realized that she was cheating on her husband and trying to like justify certain things. Essentially, I stopped around like page 100, 120, somewhere around there, because it just got so dry. I'm just like, it's just like day in, day out of, here's how I'm feeling, this is what I'm doing, here's how I'm feeling, this is what I'm doing. Oh, I wonder about this, I wonder about that. And it's like, I get it, I really do. Some people might like that. It's just not for me. Yvonne Carmichael is the main character's name. Yvonne just seems very, I understand she's a scientist, and so she might see things in a different point of view than like someone else might, because she's very methodical about certain things. I get that to a point, but then at some point, no, what you're doing doesn't make sense. No emotion involved whatsoever. And some people are that way, but I can't really connect to something like that, and it didn't really stick for me, so I put it down. You might like it, you might enjoy it. Not it for me, so I'm not even gonna rate it. I don't rate, did not finish, because not really fair. So last and final book that I'm going to talk about here. I wrestled with this one for longer than I thought I would, honestly. I actually put out something about this in the last video that I talked about books I was going to be reading soon, and I misspoke a little bit, I think, about this one, so I'm going to clear that up. Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee. So I believe that I mentioned that I thought it was a sequel to To Kill a Mockingbird, and after doing a little more research on it, I have realized that that is not quite the case. I try to research books, but I also don't fully research books because I have a bad habit of spoiling them for myself, and so the less research I do, the better I am in the long run. But also it kind of leads to something like this. So, from what I understand, Go Set a Watchman was initially a rough draft of To Kill a Mockingbird that Harper Lee didn't really intend to publish. It obviously didn't really make the final cut. There are certain parts of this, certain passages that are almost word for word identical to Kill a Mockingbird. So it is, like I said, a rough draft. So it puts characters in a different light than what To Kill a Mockingbird did. It was never published. She published To Kill a Mockingbird, I believe, in the 60s. And then this didn't come out until 2015. After Harper Lee had a stroke and her team, I don't know, attorney, publisher, I'm not entirely sure, but someone in that realm of things found the copy, the manuscript of it, and decided to publish it because, we're going to tout it as a sequel to Kill a Mockingbird. It is not a sequel to Kill a Mockingbird. It was something that she wrote as a rough draft that never got sent to publishing. And they published it after she had a stroke, and she didn't, from what I'm understanding anyways, allegedly she was not really able to agree to publish the book. I think that's the best way of putting it. I may not be 100% on it, but from everything I've gathered, from what my understanding is, there that might be the case. So I wrestled with it a little bit. I decided to stop it because To Kill a Mockingbird is one of those books that meant a lot to me because I read it when I was in middle school, and it's one of those early books that I remember really enjoying. I don't want those characters to have a different light, especially knowing that Harper Lee may have not ever wanted this book to come out, like this writing to come out. It doesn't feel fair to read it and judge it. That's just my opinion. I might be completely off base on that. I might be completely wrong, but that's where I was on it. So I stopped it, didn't rate it, I did not finish it. So that's where it ends. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening to me kind of ramble on about books when I'm very tired. So hopefully I will get a whole bunch more books read in October. We got some kind of ghosty Halloween theme books that I found to read in October because of course Halloween. And I will be back at the end of October to review that with you guys. So thank you. Bye.